During the time of Moses, that was the time they were under the law. And during the time that people are under the law, that's very strict. The people, if they could not accomplish, as nobody could accomplish and obey the law, it means death. So that in the first miracle of Moses, the water was turned into blood. And that's under the law. In other words, that's really hard to live accomplishing the law. During the time of Jesus, when he started his ministry, that was now the time of grace. Sino pangalan ni grace? Grace. Means and grace. If your wife is grace. If your name is grace. Grace. Wala dito si grace. Si grace. Nakapula si grace. So, in the time or age of grace, it's very opposite to the law. In the time of the law, water was changed into blood, and it means death and devastation, destruction of living things in the water. Patay ang isda. Patay lahat sa water. People would not drink water. Patay. But in the time of grace, in the time of Jesus Christ, his first miracle was to change water into wine. You see the difference? Moses changed water into blood. It means death and devastation, destruction. Jesus turned water into wine. Wine means gladness and celebration, life, life-giving. Instead of trouble and famine, there is celebration. Celebration in the time of grace. However, this morning, we will not be talking the miracle per se, but we will see that when Jesus turned the waters into wine, we are seeing that the priority need of the person in the age of grace is joy. What is in your hand? What do you possess? What do you have? If there's no joy in your life, pero bago ka nag-asawa, hindi ko lang asawa mo, if there is no joy, hindi ka na. Kabasan ko sa internet. Pag mag-choose ka daw sa wife, choose not the beauty, the physical beauty, instead of the character. Because it's in the character that you'll be living with. The character you should be living with. Ang physical beauty will be fantasy. Daily you will have friction if the character is bad. Kung good ang character, kahit pangit, okay lang. So, there is the need of joy that is what is implied. It's the meaning when Jesus turned the water into wine. That the most pleasing need of people after having these things that we have is that the things that we have should result, should produce J-O-Y. So this morning, the title of our message is Filling your life, our life could be a vessel. Sulod yan na siya. Kailangan empty. If it is empty, then you could fill it with lots of things. If it is half full, then when you fill in, it's only half. So when you empty, it should be fully filled. So the title is Filling Joy Up to the Brim. Ako yung vessel na up to the brim. Not only half filled, not only 3/4 filled, but filling it up to the brim. Or there is filling that should overflow. If our life is not overflowing with joy, the overflow is the things that we share with others. If you imagine your life as a vessel, then you fill it in. If it's only half or three-fourths, if it's not up to the brim, there's nothing for others. But the truth is, we are given with an idea that when we have, it's not for ourselves, that we have to share with others. What's in your hand is not purposely for yourself only. You become sociable well when you share what you have in your hand. So you could only share well if you are filled up to the brim, to overflow and touches others. What's our introduction this morning? Yeah, verses up to 11. The introduction would tells us that verse 11. So it's verse 11. Introduction. There are times when life drains. You are a vessel, but you may be surprised just like this one. If you put water, tomorrow it drains. You learn that from science. The water level will not stay the same, tomorrow, the same, no. There is a law in science that when you fill it up to this part or up to here, tomorrow it will not stay the same level. You have to continuously fill it because it drains. Life drains. So even in the filling of the Holy Spirit in our life, we are a vessel that drains, it becomes empty. So you need to change. So it says here, there are times when life drains us to the point that we are running empty. We can all, if you live this for 1 week, if you fill in water and then you go away for 1 week or 2 weeks, soon the water will be drained. Who drinks the water? By nature, or the law of evaporation, the sunlight. So the same with us. We may have joy in our life, but soon later, if you get that joy here on Sunday, when you go home tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's on draining. And when you notice it's empty, then soon you will have problem. Because it's that joy that makes you strong. So it says here, sadly, when we let life rob us of our joy, when it's beginning to drain and becomes empty, we permit something is robbing our joy. But this morning, in the story of Jesus, that's why we studied that John chapter 2 of the marriage in Cana. We are bringing joy. Jesus is bringing joy to the people when He changed the water into wine. That's the meaning. Why did Jesus change the water into wine? Because Jesus is saying the spiritual implication of that miracle is, Jesus is saying, you need joy in your life. Don't let it happen that joy will be drained in your life. As they started feasting in the marriage celebration, soon joy will be fading as wine gets drained. So Jesus changed the water into wine, giving us an idea and implication as we study the Bible, meaning Jesus saying, you people need joy. And that joy comes from you. Parang may joker ka ng joy. Yung pangalan ng joy. with pangalan mo joy, yet you will be drained by joy in your life. So, Jesus, when He changed the water into wine, He said, I am bringing you joy. Because when we have wine, there is celebration. There is gladness and happiness. Ito lang, baka mag-wild. I see people, when they are overdrawn, they are saying things opposite. And they get wild. And instead of causing celebration, it causes destruction. But the wine that Jesus made does not make them like what you see people who are drunk. Wild and will, who's right here? Come! It's a different wine. Unfermented wine. Jesus does not make wine just like canoe wine. No, it's different. Categorified as juice to us. And drinks that causes medicinal to our tummy. Hindi na yung wine na nag-asulo mo nag-relate mo mukha kung magdamit ka. You will say bad. No. That wine that Jesus made is purposely to give them medicinal help in their body. And so, what happens when you run out of joy? What happens when Jesus was not yet changing water into wine and the celebration, people asking, more drinks, more drinks, more drinks, and it's empty now. Ano siya ulit? Feeling. Can you relate? During the feast and while you're eating lipson and other things, then you suddenly thirsty. I want hope. And your throat begins to burst. And you want something to tulak the food, to push the food inside. Because just eating food without drinks is only half. So, Jesus is the joy bringer when He changed that water into wine. Though the meaning here is the changing, the power of Jesus, yet the other important implication in this story is Jesus saying to us, you people will be devastated with joy. You need to come to me. I am the bringer, I am the giver of joy in the life of people. Be filled up to the brim, up to the fullness, that we may overflow with the joy of the Lord. Next. So you have an empty bottle. If there's no joy, you are compared as a vessel that is empty. Wala ka na joy, kakakinis ko yung face. If you come inside the church without joy, can you withdraw? Mukha mo parang sa music. Mukha mo. There are reasons why joy is empty in your life. And so when joy is not there in your life, and you are empty, drained of joy, it is demonstrated in the way you smile, in the way you bring your face. Even people used to say, you have a long face, or the face of a horse. Kita mo sa horse, haba mo ka. Kasi ang nag-smile na person is not hiding the face of a horse kasi rounded. Rounded. Ano na nag-smile? The reason why you smile is there is joy inside, that happiness, joy. And Jesus is the joy bringer. So it is here, life just isn't quite good when you run out, when you are empty with joy. And Jesus is speaking the truth to us. That's why He had that water changed into wine. Please. What is this to us? What is this miracle that Jesus did? Because if you are here this morning and you have lost joy, maybe you try to pretend, you smile and say, Smile even though you're aching. Smile even though your heart is aching. Even though you are scolded, smile. Bangga mo ka. Pagalitan ka, dapat wala na na-joy. Magputin na ka. Isabunan ka. No! Wala ko pa-feel. It says here, something is troubling, something is bothering, something is causing worry in our life if there is no joy in us. And of course it will cause disappointment and hurt if we are grieved and when joy is about to come into. So John tells us how Jesus, in that miracle of changing of water into wine, John is saying, look, people are already empty of joy, there's no more wine. But Jesus, in this story, restored their happiness by giving them joy, changing the water into wine during that marriage celebration. Therefore, as you are here this morning, it's not to us in the story there and here. Jesus is saying, if you have come pretending joy is there but it's empty, you can have the same today. The same parallel comparison, just like in the celebration, when they're about to lose their joy, to come here without joy, Jesus can give you joy and be filled up to the brim. The question this morning is, how? Yes, I did that. I come here devastated with joy. There's emptiness in my heart. I have problem. My pocket is empty. My sweetheart is gone. I'm looking, but there's none. Plenty of reasons. These are just reasons. So the question is, if truly in that story Jesus is introduced as the joy bringer and joy producer, and the comparison the Bible is here, how can we have that joy? How can I be filled? How can I be filled with joy up to the brim? Number one. In that story in chapter 2, there are 4 reasons and 4 ways we can be filled with joy. Or remember them. Number 1, the very clear, obvious reason, number 1 is, if you want joy, and if you feel joy about to be drained in your life, what will you do? Do number 1. Be where Jesus is. Do not leave Jesus. If your joy is about to be drained, don't get away with Jesus. Be with Jesus. Where Jesus is, be there. This morning, where is Jesus? Do you think Jesus is at his end? Do you think Jesus this morning, Sunday morning, Wednesday, is at paradise, swimming? Do you think that? So if you want joy, very simple and very clear reason to obtain joy in your life, be where Jesus is. Kung saan si Jesus, dito ka. Don't go to a place where Jesus is not there. Kung gabi si Jesus asa. Nasa ganyan. Nasa ano ang tawag nila? Night club. Iba ngayon ang pangalan ng nag-jazz. Sa gate may babae na shirt nag-makeup. Jesus is not there. Don't get joy there. How do you get joy to your life and be filled with joy up to the brim? Number 1, very clear and simple. Be where Jesus is. Kung asa si Jesus, doon ka sunod-sunod ka kay Jesus. Kahit kung malayo ka, sunod ka lang. Your joy will be great. That's the reason why your face cannot be drawn by everywhere. Kung namin sunod, doon ka. Kung may gagamay. Gamor. So, the obvious reason for number one is be where Jesus is. Tingnan natin ang explanation. Verse. Yes. It's good that Jesus was invited at the marriage celebration. If Jesus was not there, surely they will experience draining of joy when wine will be empty. And so, it's good that in that celebration, Jesus was invited with his 5 disciples. Asa nangyari ang kasal? Galilee, Cana of Galilee. And in that celebration of the wedding feast, the custom, tradition nila tradition. Iba sa Filipino way sa kasal. Yung custom kasi Filipino way, cheap. Diba? Kung gusto mo pinaka-cheap, punta ka lang sa judge. Then maganyan, you go home. Hindi kami nga wala na po. Pinaka-simple, you can. But, in the Jewish custom of marriage, why? Because the marriage celebration will last up to 1 week, meaning 7 full days. Hindi pa ubusan sa buwan na. Kalas ang papa, naka 10 cases of coke, gallons. But you don't know the people coming in and out for 1 week. Siyempre, ubusan ka. And it's good that Jesus was there. So it says here, back then in Jewish wedding feast, it lasted for full week. Yes. They would begin with a parade, and the father and the bride will bring the daughter to the groom's house. So, example, ito ang bahay. Dito ang bahay sa lalaki, sa husband. Dito ang isang babae. Ang papa, dalhin niya ang babae. Paparin sila doon. Marcha. Because wedding is a public display to show. Kung siya mapakasal ng wedding, secret na. Secret. So, hindi bakit ipaalam, ipashow. So, ang father, dalhin niya yung daughter niya, magparin sila, hindi magsakay, parin. Pag-abot doon, responsible ang papa sa lalaki. Nag-prepare na sila. Kung nakambihan na doon, magkasal. Kaya sila 1 year preparation. So, nag-save, nag-prepare na ihaw, how many cow, how many sheep, how many chicken, how many lamb. So, it lasted for 7 days. Now it says here, the whole town would join in this parade, and it was a huge celebration for the family. When they arrived at the groom's home, the marriage ceremony would take place at the front door. Pag-start sa door, sa door, pag-enter mo sa bahay, sa Jewish home, na-ajar. Sabi ni Biblia, antik. Made of stone. Nabigat siya kayo. Stone na sa kanako, hindi sa loob. So it becomes a jar. So, when you get inside, first you wash your feet. They will give you power. If you are most welcome, you feel that you are welcome, there's somebody to wash your feet. If you are not welcome, sit up. Or there's no water there. Pag-enter mo sa bahay, kung welcome ka, sa Pilipino, kung welcome ka, na, may smile, may smile. Sa Jewish, iba, kailangan ang diyan, filled with water, and there's no power to wash your feet. Because desert, they're doing ka, kapagit inside. Okay. So, it is here, the marriage ceremony would take place at the front door. Then, the feast began, which lasted for 7 days, paid for by the grooms ng lalaki. Responsible to support. Mahal. kung puro kang groom, asawa. Asawa. Kasi hindi naman. Cannot afford. Next. So there was no honeymoon. Wala kay 7 days. They had an open house. Open house ang bahay. Ang babae sa lalaki. Open. So kahit sino na ako come in, come out. So kailangan ang sabi dito, there are 6 jars of water at the door. Ang isa ka jar, mga 6 gallons of water. So Jesus and his disciples were invited to this wedding feast. Just think of the chains of the disciples. At least 2 of them had been disciples of John the Baptist. Ano, pag disciples ka ni John the Baptist, wala nag-feastan si John. Palagi nang na-fasting. Ay doon sa bukid. Ang pinakain honey. Pag mga wild, ng kapan, ito mo. So, na-surprise ang mga Pharisee that Jesus was into fasting. While John's disciples into fasting. Opposite na. Fasting and fasting. So, John the Baptist probably would not be very comfortable in the wedding feast. Wala pa siya na-invite. Jesus, distinct, different Jesus, cheers being with the people and enjoyed the social occasion, and he was much so, pinahagap siya pag si Jesus. Invited lagi. Many times sa gospel, Jesus is invited by the Pharisee to a dinner. Jesus is happy to be in the feast. But of course, his purpose is to evangelize and to meet people's needs. So he was much sought after as a dinner guest. Most people were very comfortable around him. In fact, he was even criticized by the Pharisee. Kaya ang mga Pharisee, they have the habit of learning from John and the fast. And he is with the sinners. He is with the tax collector. So is Jesus. Pisting. Ang kasama niya pa makabalang people. But the truth is, the Bible should tell us, Jesus is a friend of sinner. Friend of sinner. Not to the point, sinner, kita sa sama ka. We are friend of sinner that we will invite them, not to the point of being with them, to go with them what we are doing. So we go to see friend of sinner to invite them. Next. So that when he was criticized by the Pharisee, saan si Jesus? Sino kasama niya? He is opposite to John the Baptist. John the Baptist is fasting, but Jesus is into feasting. And what is wrong more is that he is with the sinners, with the bad people. Because the truth is, Jesus said, I come to seek and to save that which is lost. I did not come for all people, for not sinners. I came for this purpose. Next. So Jesus brought joy into the people's lives during the feast. Kung sama-sama ka kay Jesus ka nag-fasting, what do you feel? Kung sama-sama ka kay John the Baptist ka nag-fasting, what do you feel? Invite ko lang sa friend ko, isang boss. We will go downtown. DXP ko. Mamaya, kain sa house. Downtown. Mamaya, kain sa restaurant. Mga mahal. Hindi ko, kung mag-hold na mag-invite sa inyo. So that, the idea is that when they are with Jesus, you will be expecting that there will be testing. And you will be comfortable with